Okay, Bazaar, or Bazaar. So it's the shop and then the word Bazaar is about, I think his name is, I have to read this again, Bob Berdella. So this is kind of a documentary about him. He was a very bizarre serial killer, similar in the same, in a similar vein, kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer, who was a Kansas City-based killer. This is partially documentary. It's also a trauma movie, so when they're doing the dramatic reenactments, they're a bit more on the overly dramatic side. And they also throw in a band doing music that seems just bizarre. They're normally doing some of the spoof-based songs about Bob Berdella. Ironically, had they removed some of the over-dramatic reenactments and the actual music montage they have every now and then, this would probably be a pretty interesting documentary. The actual documentary portions are actually pretty interesting. Everything else that got added to it just entirely detracts entirely from anything you should potentially get from a documentary about this. About a serial killer who pretty much found young men, occasionally they were male prostitutes, tortured them, raped them, killed them. You know, this should be a pretty impactful sort of documentary about someone who did this in the mid to late 80s. However, when they throw in the weird people who are almost trying to justify the actions that he did, and then the really bad videos and music that they throw into it, just really makes this a less than pleasurable experience about a documentary that really probably needed to have a much more deft hand when it came to being produced.